Happening now, the latest on a fatal house fire that claimed 2 lives Sunday in Chautauqua County. And a nationally renowned marijuana expert is in Jamestown. Plus, an update on the push to bring commercial air service back to our area.
Live and on demand, this is WNY News Now.
And thanks for joining us for WNY News Now. I'm Justin Gould. Those stories and more are coming up, but first, tragically, 2 people lost their lives in a devastating house fire in Gary on Sunday morning. The Chautauqua County Sheriff's Office confirmed that fire crews were called to the scene of the blaze at 4932 Herrick Road around 5:51 in the morning. When fire department personnel entered the home, they found Jeffrey and Judith Church, both 66 years old, dead inside. The Chautauqua County Fire Investigation Team is still working to determine the cause of the fire. And the Jamestown Fire Department, meanwhile, is investigating to identify the cause of a house fire on the city's east side. Firefighters arrived at the intersection of Willard and Allen Streets at around 11:30 at night Friday and discovered this blaze fully engulfed. Fortunately, no injuries or fatalities reported here. This was the second night in a row where an active the Chautauqua County Sheriff's Office and within city limits, and we will continue to learn more about this story at WNYNewsNow.com. Well, the Chautauqua County Sheriff's Office invited a drug expert to the Chautauqua Harbor Hotel on Monday morning to speak about the dangers of a certain drug, marijuana. Bronson Rasmussen just returned from this forum, which took place in Celeron. He joins us from the newsroom with more. Bronson?
Justin, PhD marijuana expert Kevin Savitt spoke out to dozens about the marijuana business, which he thinks is moving too far, too fast.
To the average American, it's very controversial because the average American has been fed this stuff from the industry for the last 40 years. And, I wish the average American read the New England Journal of Medicine,
Savitt estimated that in the past 30 years, 10 times as many people use the drug. He also brings up other illegal drugs that are far worse.
It starts with the drugs that are the most accessible. And the drugs that are most accessible are alcohol, marijuana, and now to some extent vaping nicotine. Used to be cigarettes, but not anymore. You talk to a high school student, cigarettes, smoking's disgusting. Smoking marijuana, well, that's healthy. That's the change we've had. That is just, it's profound.
The marijuana business has changed a lot in the past few years.
I'm not talking about the old marijuana. I'm talking about the new stuff, the products that we're seeing, the THC-infused candies, cookies, gummies, ice cream, sodas. The potency levels have just ballooned. It's an order of magnitude or more different now.
In the end, the marijuana industry is growing at an exponential rate.
Among youth, marijuana is becoming more addictive, much more addictive than alcohol or nicotine products, including vaping. And this was a study that just came out last year that shocked the NIH researchers that did it.
Now, Savitt has been a part of the White House Office of National Drug Control Policy Advisor for both controlling parties. He also has written a book on the subject. Smokescreen, reporting live in the newsroom, Bronson Rasmussen, WNY News Now.
Yeah, certainly an interesting conversation that continues there, Bronson. Thank you. Well, last week, the Chautauqua County Legislature, they approved a resolution to spend $50,000 of the American Rescue Plan Act funding on the Air Service Development Project, a study which will assess whether the Jamestown Airport could sustain commercial air service. The County Industrial Development Agency also agreed to contribute $25,000 for this study. This comes after the county legislature rejected a similar proposal in October 2021. The market study is expected to take less than a year to determine if the Jamestown market could support commercial air service. The Jamestown area lost commercial air service in 2018 when the Federal Transportation Department found that the local airport did not meet federal standards of 10 passengers a day or the federal government's $200 per rider subsidy cap. Well, in case you missed it, Damar Hamlin, who suffered a heart-stopping moment on the field in Cincinnati last January, he paid a visit to our region over the weekend. His visit was part of the annual Global Youth Service Day, which was organized by the Youth Leadership Institute of Erie. Erie News Now's Philip Ward was there, and he has more on Hamlin and what that special day meant to the kids at the event.
You can hear how pumped up the crowd at East Middle School was to see Buffalo Bills safety Damar Hamlin, but getting to meet him was even better.
It was good. I said I'm going to be an NFL when I grow up, and he got me up and said that was It was amazing. I was so terrified, I almost passed out.
He was very nervous to meet Damar.
Hamlin didn't just meet with the kids, he signed autographs for them as well.
It was very cool. I walked up to him and I said, "This is so crazy," and then he laughed at me, and he's just a nice guy, and yeah, it was a really fun experience, and I love being at this event.
Glad that he was here, that he got back up from his cardiac arrest, and he got to sign my football.
Edison Nicholson, CEO of the Youth Leadership Institute of Erie, said he admires how Hamlin is resilient and never gives up.
That's what needs to be messaged to our young people. You know, no matter what happens, you can still get back up.
He liked doing this.
Thank you for all the love, the support, the toys, and I'm just so humbled to be here, and I appreciate everything and everyone had done. Thank you.
Philip Ward, Erie News Now.
All right, Philip Ward reporting there. Philip, thank you very much. Certainly, what a sight to see, Andrew, and to see the kids, too, who get involved in that. It's still, regardless of whether you're a football fan or not, or a Bills fan or not, or if you know anything about sports, to see the remarkable recovery that Damar has made really, I think, is something to cherish across not just our region, the world, but the world, too, really.
I mean, weather-wise, it feels like it is football season.
Yeah,
out
doesn't
there.
it?
Doesn't feel like summer out there, but won't feel like summer anytime soon, at least for the first half of the week. First defense Doppler radar right now, we have some rain showers popping up across the region. There's even a couple peaks of sunshine breaking out, but there are some more clouds off to our southwest, and this is going to be the theme over the next few days: popcorn rain showers and even some snow I'll tell you about coming up a little later on. Here are the rainfall totals from the past 24 hours from across the region. Now, as we said yesterday and over the weekend, the highest rainfall totals were going to be found off to our east, and in fact that's where they were across portions of Lake Ontario, Watertown, about 1.75 inches of rain. Oswego, New York, about 1.25 inches, and back here across western New York. Falconer, just under 1/2 inch of rain. Jamestown at the airport, a little over 4/10 of an inch of rain. Olean did see 4/10, and at the Dunkirk airport, about 2/10 of an inch of rain. And we got some more rain on the way, and we even got some snow on the way. The high yesterday, we made it to a high of 52 degrees, which occurred early in the morning. The temperature dropped throughout the rest of the day as a cold front moved through the region. The low for yesterday was 40 degrees, and the record high for today, 88, set back in 1942. The record low of 19, set back in 1987. So here's the forecast for the afternoon. Mostly cloudy skies, a couple breaks in the sunshine, but there will also be periods of some rain showers out there. Might even hear a couple rumbles of thunder. The highs for today in the low to mid 40s. I'll have a look at that full forecast coming up in just a few minutes.
All right, Andrew, thank you. Before we go to break, want to wish a happy birthday to WNY News Now viewer Connie Young. Thanks for tuning in here across our network. Coming up next as WNY News Now continues, the years following the worst fatal limo crash here in New York, the criminal case against the driver in that crash now getting underway. And later, what funding in New York State's budget could mean for free school lunch across the Empire State. Stay with us.
With coverage that matters, this is WNY News Now.
EagleZip.com is your local one-stop shop for all of your home and business computer needs. Located on Fluvan Avenue Extension, just outside of Jamestown, EagleZip.com sells and services all brands of desktops and laptops, as well as servers and network equipment for your business. All new computer sales include transferring your data from your old computer, plus a 2-year warranty. Call EagleZip.com today.
Stop by EagleZip.com today and let us make computers easy for you.
On this episode of Lead and Lures, Pro staffer and lethal lady Caitlin Armstrong takes out her big Ohio buck. Months of hard work, dedication, and scouting have led her to this moment. You're not going to want to miss this episode of Lead and Lures on Channel 716 Roku TV. And if you want to see more of Caitlin Armstrong, follow her on YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram at Caitlin Armstrong.
Land has been quite the experience.
3-on-3 basketball returns to Jamestown, New York this summer. Collaborative Children's Solutions and partners are hosting a Gus Macker tournament August 19th and 20th in Brooklyn Square. The streets will be packed with a festival atmosphere, bringing the youngest of our Macker mites up to the adult players who compete for the top prize in their divisions. Register online at Macker.com before July 31st. The Jamestown Macker will also include some specialty competitions, making it one of the best community events of the year.
You're watching WNY News Now, where coverage comes first.
Well, nearly 5 years after a stretch limousine packed with birthday celebrators careened down a hill and off a road in rural upstate New York, killing 20, the operator of that company which rented the vehicle, now on who ran Prestige Limousine, is charged with criminally negligent homicide and second-degree manslaughter in connection with the October 6, 2018 crash, one of the deadliest U.S. road wrecks of the past 2 decades, in Schoharie. It's a village west of Albany, New York. Jury selection is scheduled to begin today in Schoharie County Court. 17 people using the limo for a birthday celebration were killed, along with the driver and 2 bystanders outside the county store where the vehicle crashed. The National Transportation Safety Board found evidence of brake failure. Prosecutors say Husson failed to properly maintain the limo and is blamed for the deaths. Well, last week, Governor Kathy Hochul announced a conceptual agreement for the final state budget. Our New York Capitol correspondent Elise Klein is breaking down some of the proposals in the final agreement, which include universal school meals.
As the state budget comes to a conceptual agreement, Governor Kathy Hochul's now $229 billion budget intends to expand eligibility for universal school meals.
But also for kids to be successful in school. They can't sit there with their stomachs growling. They're hungry. They need nutritious food to focus and thrive.
Hochul says the final budget will include $134 million for free school meals. The governor's original budget plan did not include universal school meals. Both the Senate and the Assembly proposed $280 million in their one-house budget resolutions. Assemblymember Phil Palmisano says the concept of universal school meals helps break down the stigma of a free lunch and breakfast program. But he also says $134 million is not enough.
There will be some school districts and some children left out of the equation, so that's not universal.
Assemblymember Palmisano says the details soon to be laid out in the budget bills will provide a clearer picture of how many school districts will be eligible for universal school meal funding. In Albany, Elise Klein, WNY News Now.
Pennsylvania is one of 9 states with a closed primary system. Now, having closed primaries means only registered Democrats and Republicans can vote in this spring's elections, which would solidify their party's general candidate for the general election. According to advocates at a press conference in Harrisburg last week, independents make up the growing population of our electorate, which includes many voters under 40 and roughly half of PA veterans. Advocates say open primaries promote less partisan, more responsive candidates that can relate more with the general electorate.
I think there's almost a yearning for a return to those kinds of politics in Pennsylvania, and I think this can be a really important proposal to help get us there.
Republican State Senator Dan Laughlin and Democrat Senator Lisa Bosclaw are prime sponsors of Senate Bill 400, which would open the primary elections. Well, May 1st marks the start of National Nurses Month. It's a special 31 days to honor and support nurses in the work they do. The observance comes as a nursing shortage continues to be an issue for many. Healthcare providers, 2 local nurses spoke with Erie News Now's Elspeth Meisner about what this month means to them.
Sally Piazza has cared for hundreds of patients as a nurse and now passes her passion for nursing on to a new generation.
Nursing is it's very honorable profession, very trusted profession. And when I talk to some of the nursing students that come here to do their clinicals, that's what we talk about. Nursing has to be in your heart. We'll never be rich, but you'll be rich in other ways in your life.
She was on the front lines as the first vaccines arrived for COVID-19 and knows the toll that the pandemic took on nurses.
We were ministers, we were caregivers, we were everything to everybody.
The pandemic was just one factor that led to the current nursing shortage.
We have to encourage our young people to go into healthcare in all areas. We have to start in the schools at a much younger age to let them know about what the healthcare field can provide for people.
Not only is there a shortage of nurses, but in male nurses too.
So there definitely isn't a ton of nursing that are males, especially on like the med-surg areas or the tele floors. So there was definitely times where I'd be the only male on the floor.
Hunter Olson has worked his way up from being a nurse's aide to an assistant nurse manager and says more males are needed to help care for patients.
It's nice to have some men as much as you can on the floor to help, ambulate patients, get them out of bed, and that's something we're definitely pushing for.
Although Piazza has been a nurse for years, she says it never hurts to get some extra appreciation.
You meet a nurse, thank them for the hard work that they do every day. If you're ever considered healthcare, consider nursing.
Elspeth Meisner, Erie News Now.
Elspeth, thank you. When we return, Andrew has a full look at our weather forecast as a mix of rain, clouds, and sun makes its way across western New York.
You're watching WNY News Now, where coverage comes first.
3-on-3 basketball returns to Jamestown, New York this summer. Collaborative Children's Solutions and partners are hosting a Gus Macker tournament August 19th and 20th in Brooklyn Square. The streets will be packed with a festival atmosphere, bringing the youngest of our Mackermites up to the adult players who compete for the top prize in their divisions. Register online at Macker.com before July 31st. The Jamestown Macker will also include some specialty competitions, making it one of the best community events of the year.
Have you ever wanted to live out your dreams? Hunt, fish, in all corners of the earth? Well, now's your chance. Follow Primitive Patriot Outdoors as we live out our dreams and show you how to live out yours through outdoor adventures. From Western New York to Africa to all corners of the earth, follow us on this adventure. It's an experience you've never seen before. Lead and Lures, Roku TV, channel 716.
I'm a survivor. I'm a survivor. I'm a survivor.
Testicular cancer is the leading form of cancer in men aged 15 to 35.
1 in 250 men will be diagnosed with testicular cancer.
But 98% will survive if detected early.
As a survivor, I believe early detection is the key. Learn how to do a testicular self-exam and other important facts about testicular cancer at oneball4tc.com.
With coverage that matters, this is WNY News Now.
Fast, accurate, and everyday. First Defense Weather.
Welcome back to WNY News Now. Currently in downtown Jamestown, we're under mostly cloudy skies. 43 degrees is the current temperature at the Jamestown Airport with a southwest wind of 18 miles per hour and a gust of 28. Well, if you're not a fan of this chillier weather, there is some good news on the horizon as the NOAA 8 to 14-day temperature outlook, which spans from May 8th through May 14th, does favor above average temperatures to return to the Great Lakes in the northeast. We're looking at temperatures during this period about 30 to 50% above average. So again, if you don't like the cooler weather and if you don't like the snow that's in the forecast for tonight, warmer weather is on the horizon. Here is the culprit of all this cool weather and the wet snow. There's a low pressure system currently centered across Michigan, and that's keeping us in a counterclockwise flow of chillier weather and rain showers and some wet snow showers. And it's just going to kind of stall there over the next few days, but eventually by the end of the week it will begin to move. Here's what's happening. Future scan for the next 24 to 48 hours. Some rain showers through the rest of the afternoon. There we go. Some rain showers through the rest of the afternoon, might mix with some wet snow showers, but the wet snow showers will really start to take hold heading into tonight as colder air filters in and across the region. Might go over to all snow across the higher elevations later tonight and through early tomorrow, and then through the rest of the day tomorrow. A mixture of rain and wet snow showers at the higher elevations with rain at the lower elevations, and that will continue through tomorrow night, and we'll do the same thing all over again on Wednesday, a mix of wet rain and wet snow showers. In terms of snowfall accumulations, not really expecting much, but the highest hilltops could see upwards of an inch or two across the southern tier of northwestern Pennsylvania. Now the extended forecast powered by Ultimate Satellite Solutions. Temperatures over the next few days, well below average, only in the low to mid 40s with rain and wet snow showers, but we do rebound by the end of the week. Thursday and Friday we get temperatures back into the 50s, and I think you're going to like the weekend if we get through the next few days. Plenty of sunshine returns for the weekend as high pressure builds in, and the temperatures return back into the 60s to near 70 by Sunday.
Well, I know what I'm doing on Sunday, Andrew. I'm headed out to the Copacabana, that's for sure. Inside joke for those who may be knowing. Coming up, here's some headlines from around the nation. JP Morgan Chase, they're paying more than $10.5 billion to acquire. The Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation has already taken control of the embattled bank, which has been teetering for weeks. First Republic is the second largest bank failure in the nation's history. As part of the transaction, First Republic's 84 offices will reopen as branches of JP Morgan Chase. Now, at the end of March, First Republic had assets of $233 billion. According to the Federal Reserve, it was the 14th largest bank in the country. Well, a manhunt is underway in Texas for the suspect who opened fire, killing 5 members of one family, according to law enforcement outside of Houston. Officials say the deadly outburst was triggered when a neighbor asked a suspect to quiet down. And Tina Kim has the story.
America's latest mass shooting erupted not in a public place, but at this private home in Cleveland, Texas, all triggered by, officials say, a noise complaint. The San Jacinto County Sheriff called the scene where 5 people, including an 8-year-old child, were gunned down late Friday night, quote, horrific. He said officers found several survivors, some young children, covered in blood in the home, but not hurt.
2 of the juveniles were found up underneath 2 of the deceased women that were in the bedroom. In my opinion, they were actually trying to take care of them babies and keep them babies alive.
The sheriff also said everyone killed, including the 8-year-old child, was shot from the neck up, quote, almost execution style. Capers added the victims are a family from Honduras. He said the suspect, the next-door neighbor of the victims, was apparently shooting a rifle in his yard and was asked to stop.
The victims, they came over to the fence, said, hey, do you mind not shooting out in the yard? We have a young baby that's trying to go to sleep, and he had been drinking, and he says, I'll do what I want to in my front yard.
Capers said the gunman then opened fire. He's been identified as 38-year-old Francisco Oropeza, a Mexican national. His alleged rampage is now part of at least 174 mass shootings so far this year, according to the Gun Violence Archive, which defines a mass shooting as 4 or more people shot, not including the gunman. I'm Tina Kim reporting.
A new approach to treating babies exposed to opioids during pregnancy is showing some success. A study published in the New England Journal of Medicine shows the Eat Sleep Console Care approach helps newborns get out of the hospital sooner than current treatment. Researchers examined this new approach with 1,300 infants at 26 hospitals. The Eat Sleep Console involves parents and prioritized care that doesn't involve medicine. It has things like swaddling, skin-to-skin contact, and breastfeeding all as a priority. The current approach involves nurses measuring a baby's withdrawal symptoms before providing treatment such as methadone or morphine, while babies treated with the standard approach are hospitalized for about 15 days. Well, coming up next, a personal and heartfelt announcement from yours truly about a big change here at WNY News Now.
You're watching WNY News Now, where coverage comes first.
On this episode of Lead and Lures, pro staffer and lethal lady Caitlin Armstrong takes out her big Ohio buck. Months of hard work, dedication, and scouting have led her to this moment. You're not going to want to miss this episode of Lead and Lures on Channel 716 Roku TV. And if you want to see more of Caitlin Armstrong, follow her on YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram at
Hunting
Caitlin
on
Armstrong.
private land has been quite the experience.
3-on-3 basketball returns to Jamestown, New York this summer. Collaborative Children's Solutions and partners are hosting a Gus Macker tournament August 19th and 20th in Brooklyn Square. The streets will be packed with a festival atmosphere, bringing the youngest of our Macker mites up to the adult players who compete for the top prize in their divisions. Register online at Macker.com before July 31st. The Jamestown Macker will also include some specialty competitions, making it one of the best community events of the year.
You're watching WNY News Now, your source for breaking news.
Welcome back to WNY News Now. I have some bittersweet news to share with all of you. After much thought and consideration, I'm leaving WNY News Now to accept a position within Chautauqua County government as the new Media Information Officer. In this role, I will act as a liaison for news media organizations, coordinating press conferences, press releases, and responding to emergencies as they develop to provide up-to-date information for both the news media and public. I will also assist the legislature, all departments, and agencies within county government to try to enhance their public relations. Now, to avoid a conflict of interest, WNY News Now was sold to Lee Kane. He owns and operates Channel 716. In all reality, this is only really a greater expansion of the inclusion of enterprises which have already been operating side by side. In 2020, Lee and I partnered to develop Channel 716, a live and on-demand streaming service on Roku TV and channel716.com. In addition to the news programming, we are several streaming shows like So You Think You Can Cook, which was a charity cooking competition, and Lead and Lures, a hunting and outdoor education program. Several new series are also in production right now, so stay tuned for those. Starting on June 1st, Lee is assuming ownership of WNY News Now as I officially start the new position. However, aside from an anchor role change, operations will continue as usual. I'm blessed to say Lee and I share the same vision, to provide honest journalism for the people of Chautauqua County, and WNY News Now's mission will continue as established when we began operations in December 2016. It's been such an honor and privilege to serve you, the viewer. At the end of the day, that's the reason why I got into the news business, to fill a void here in our community and provide accurate and honest information. I thank you for making it possible. My last day anchoring this program will be Thursday, May 18th. Bronson will fill in following my departure. I know the news is certainly in great hands with our wonderful team. So it's so tough, like I mentioned, gentlemen, as Bronson and Andrew join us here, to make this choice. But I feel the opportunity is incredible, and I love doing the news, and I don't want to say that I feel I've reached my cap, because I still think there's so much more that WNY News Now can do. And I do believe that the two of you, Lee, and the rest of the team will do an excellent job and going into the future, because what we do is critical for people here in Jamestown.
Definitely. It will be interesting to see what comes at the end of this month, but it really, there are a lot of ways that this can go, but I think it can only go forward. It won't go back at all.
Yeah, no, and that's the thing. It is, when you look at what our community offers and what we offer to the community, it's really a mirror, right? We have created this environment to tell the stories. And I know I fully trust that you, Bronson, leading WNY News Now on the news side of it with your expertise, working with Andrew through weather, Alyssa, and the rest of our team will really continue it, and I'm excited to see what Lee's investment will be. Well, that's going to do it for our show today. Of course, the news continues 24/7 at WNYNewsNow.com. I will be back in the anchor desk tomorrow. We'll leave you with this live look outside. Have a great day.